Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with Emma, my youngest sister, and we're going to be talking about all things book related. So if you like to read, if you like to talk about books or listen to people talk about books, then stay tuned. Tell us about you. Tell us about your reading life.
I do feel like I have kind of always read.
Yeah, you have.
Our gran loved reading. She used to take us to a library in Newton Mearns.
Newton Mearns, yeah.
And then other than that, yeah, I think I've just always read. I had these wee like cat books I read when I was younger about all these, and then Jacqueline Wilson. Went hard with Jacqueline Wilson actually. I mean, at one point I was like 2 books off having her whole collection one year. Like obviously she brought 10 more. But
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. They were all so traumatic and so sad. Like when you think about how traumatic Jacqueline Wilson's books are, you're like, why was I reading that at like 8 years old?
No, I know. And then when I got older and she released her like more teenagery ones, they got worse.
They were so much worse.
Yeah.
so much worse. So what kind of stuff do you like to read? Like what's...
See, I think I lie normally and I say, oh, I love horror books.
Right.
And then I actually have not read that many horror books.
Okay. So you're like someone that's like, oh my god, I love the classics, but I've actually read like...
Well, no, I've definitely barely touched classics.
No, but that's what people usually lie about reading, like the classics.
I think I go to say horror and I think that's true, that's what I want to read, but I actually end up reading thrillers.
I was like that, like... I realised that last year that I love, well, we both, like, we, and Jenna, our middle sisters, were like, we all love horror movies. Like, genuinely, we love horror movies, and we love, like, well, I love, like, kind of scary podcasts and stuff like that, so do you. But I realised last year, I don't think I'd ever read, like, a horror book, ever. And I was like, why? That's so weird. So I made a conscious effort last year to start reading horror books, and I really enjoy it. It's funny because I think you always think like, oh, it can't be that scary because it's a book, because you're not seeing it visually, but your imagination is so much worse than anything a movie could show you.
One of my favourite books is The Woman in Black we were just talking about.
I've not read it.
And it obviously is a horror book, and it was...
It's also a play.
Yeah. It was the first horror book I ever read, and it stuck with me, and it is so scary, and that's why I was like, I think for me what puts me off horror the genre is it is so dominated by Stephen King that I then struggle to find someone a bit different.
Yeah, because see, the horror books that I've read recently have been based on, or were originally, like no sleep Reddits or creepypastas that have then turned into horror books.
Yeah, like kind of newer stuff, whereas all older stuff.
Or I was going to say The Shining, but that's what I was thinking. Because I really want to read The Shining, because I'm not, like, I really want to read
Cemetery, there are so many horror films that he's wrote, and I
does dominate.
So and it's not that I don't want to read like the mainstream people, but I find it's hard to find anyone other than when I like to look at in Goodreads, like every recommendation.
And then also like
King.
With like The Shining, like I've never seen the film The Shining, which I know is like shocking, right? Because I'm one of these people, I'm one of these like annoying people that I want to read the book first, and I've still not read the book yet, so I want to read. But I know what happens in The Shining, right? It's such a pop culture thing, so that's the problem with like Stephen King books, is that when you're not really going into them blind, because you know what
exactly.
Not saying that it won't still be scary, I'm sure it'll still be scary, but you do kind of know what to expect, whereas with like indie horror books you can have like no idea. So why do you love reading so much? Like what do you get out of reading that like you don't get from anything else?
So this is one I really thought about. I know people say it's escapism, like, so I do think it's escapism, but I don't actually look for a happier book than my life. I think I look for a darker book than my life. And you know what, it's not that bad.
It's still escapism. I mean, you're escaping into another reality. It's just not a happy reality.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I don't really read happy books.
No, me neither, to be honest.
It's like, it's not my vibe. So I think definitely I love books that really get into people's thoughts, because then you're like, I think like that.
It's a good distraction. I mean, I think that's why I love listening to podcasts, for the same reason, because... And I'm guilty of listening to some quite dark podcasts, but I think that's because it occupies your brain, so like you can't really think about anything else. I'm the same. I think like that's a big reason why I love to read, and I also find it really relaxing. Like I do find reading like really, really relaxing, because you can't really do anything else when you're reading.
No, you can't.
Like, well, for me as well, I can have music on, but not like singing, like not lyrical music.
I don't know how people can do lyrics.
I know, that's so distracting. Reading is like that one thing for me that like I can't really do anything else. I just need to I'm just like focused on that one thing, so I find it really relaxing.
I think I kind of hate that I find it so relaxing, because I end up falling asleep.
You fall asleep, I know, because I love reading in bed, but then
I fall asleep.
you're just falling asleep. Okay, so I have created for us a little reading tag. Now I don't even know if this is still a thing, but previously in the booktube community, these like tags would go around, people like booktubers would tag other booktubers to do like whatever. So I was like, let's just create my own one for us to do, and if anyone wants to do it, you can do it. I'll have the questions in the description below if anyone does want to do it. Okay, so question number 1 is, what's your favourite genre?
Well, that's the thing, if I lied.
Well, don't lie.
So definitely it's going to be like whodunit, thrillers, vibes.
Thrillers. I think I'm the same.
Yeah.
Like I would say I read a lot of non-fiction. I read a lot of self-help. I read, oh my god, in the summer I literally hyper-fixated on Greek mythology.
Oh my god,
so
yeah,
hard.
she did. It's to the point where I'm put off. I was like,
okay.
Pop off.
But those are kind of anomalies. I'd say like I always come back to a good thriller. Like if I'm stuck,
yeah, you just anything in Tesco and you go, page turner.
Yeah. Least favourite genre?
I think my least favourite genre would be like completely fully dedicated romance.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Like I don't mind if there's a romantic plot in a book,
but like romance
if it's
books,
like like it's all about like meeting and falling in love, nah,
I'm the same. I would get bored. I would actually say mine is maybe, see, I never thought about romance because I was going to say YA, like young adult.
Oh, like The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I have read some good YA books, so I'm not trying to hate on the whole genre, but I feel like, kind of, I guess what you're saying, they are quite predictable. There's always a love interest, there's always like, there's just so many tropes in a lot of YA books that you're reading them and you're like, ugh, even the good ones, you're like, oh, I can see that coming a mile off. Like, it's just, and I understand it because they're young adults, so I'm not saying that they're meant to be super intelligent, but like,
do you mean like as in it's not even, it's just not that it's the book is aimed for young adults, it's that there are young adults in it?
The content, is young adult, and it is aimed at young adult. Favourite series?
Of books? Oh, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, why did I not think you were going to say that? I actually, didn't even think about that.
Get it up.
Okay.
My Ride or Die.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh god, okay, and I'm really second guessing my answer now.
What were you going to say?
Well, right, so obviously the obvious, I feel like every person that likes books would go to Harry Potter, right? Because that's like a comfort, right? But actually, I was going to say The Hunger Games because that got me through a hard time in my life. Like I love
back into Hunger Games TikTok.
Yeah, me too. Because the new one's coming out, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes coming out.
I haven't read that yet.
It's so good. That's coming out. I don't know if it's this year or next year, so that's why all this.
Oh, makes sense.
But no, I do think The Hunger Games is a really and funny because I've just said I don't like YA, and that's definitely YA. But I think it's a really strong series. Yeah. There's only 3. They didn't rip the arse out of it. They didn't make 20. Because some of these I don't read them, but there's one. And is it like a Court of Thorn and Roses or something like that? And there's like 20 of them. It might not even be that one, right? But there's like 20 of them. Yeah. And you're just like, come on. So I like there's only 3 of them. I just think they're really good books. Best book to film adaptation. It doesn't have to be like, if it was a series, for example, like say Harry Potter, you don't need to say the whole Harry Potter series, but you can say one particular film. Because if I was going to go with a Harry Potter one, I would probably go with The Prisoner of Azkaban, because I think that's a very good book to film adaptation. But actually, I would say my best book to film adaptation is The Green Mile.
Oh, I've not actually read or watched the film.
Such a good book. Such a good film.
Is that Stephen King?
Yeah.
Does it have to be Stephen King?
But it's not a horror. I wouldn't say The Green Mile's a horror book. No, but I read it. That was my first ever Stephen King book actually that I read, and I loved it. I mean, it is dark. Yeah. And it is like, it's just so unique. I just think it's such a good book. And then I watched the film, and it was like, it honestly felt as if it was line for line. I've never seen a film so closely matched with the book and so well done. Like there was bits in, when you read it, you'll understand, there's bits in it you're like, oh, this could be really shit to like watch in a film, and it was so good. And Tom Hanks in it, and he's so young. He's such a baby. He's like chubby Tom Hanks. Now Tom Hanks is still chubby, he's like that. You got one?
Well, I just watched Where the Crawdads Sing. Literally just watched it 2 nights ago, so I feel like I'm a bit biased.
That is a good adaptation.
But they done really well.
They did do well.
There were a few things I missed.
Yeah, same.
Like, I feel like jumping wasn't in it enough.
Yeah.
so that was sad, but I did really enjoy it, and I felt like I really related to her character. I think because when I read it, I lived by myself, I was like,
I know, well, I read it, I'm the Marsh girl, it's me, hi. Well, I read it in lockdown, and so I was like, oh my god, I worked from home, and Matthew went to work, so I was home alone all the time, and I was like, this is me and my little Marsh, collecting my little feathers, drawing my birds in my notebook. Your comfort character, so like character that you're just like, oh, feel safe with this character, good character.
Like as in like feel safe as in like you relate to them, or feel safe as in their company?
No, either. I guess it doesn't. Whatever.
I think
when you read this character, you get a sense of comfort. That's to me what a comfort character is.
Ron.
Oh, I was gonna say Ron. No, I actually had the Weasleys in general in my head.
Ron specifically.
Oh, like, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, Ron is too precious.
The twins as well.
No, actually Molly Weasley. I love Molly and Arthur.
Yeah, pop off.
Literally, like.
No, I know.
See,
they've done it right. They raised good kids. Ellen and Ginny.
But anyway. And Percy.
Oh yeah,
Percy's so problematic.
Yeah,
Percy's
he is.
Tory, like.
Yeah.
No, the Weasleys, like no.
Yeah, like,
the Burrow in general. See, every time I read Harry Potter and they're at the Burrow, I'm literally, it's like a big blanket, and you're just like.
See, like the PlayStation game that you go to the Burrow for quite a while in. Our whole game was there. Forget all.
Do you have to do anything?
The Burrow.
You just sit in the Burrow. No, yeah, Ron is a good comfort.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of people, Remus Lupin is a comfort character for a lot of people, and I can see that. He's very comforting.
Yeah.
Gives you a wee bit of chocolate.
Yeah, okay, that's nice, I guess. I would be a bit concerned every full moon, though. I'd be like, you know what, I'm a bit unsafe in your presence if you take your moonshine, thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking the Weasleys were the first thing that came in my head as well. You're only allowed to take one book with you to a desert island. What book do you take?
Okay, we're being strategic. And the book Wildpork and Watercress is based in Bushlands.
Okay, I've never read it.
It's such a good book, based on Hunt for the Wilder People. Well, like, it's the book that is the film Hunt for the Wilder People is based on. And it's got everything. It's like got survival, it's got relationships, it's got like funny moments, sad moments, and it's just a really interesting book, and I feel like it's a book that I always like think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it stays with you. I like when books stay with you. Like that's a good sign of like a good book when you're still thinking about it.
You know what? I saw the film first. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw the film and I went, this must be a book.
You can tell if you're a reader and you go and see a film, you just have that thing, you're like, this was a book.
I literally, and that's the thing, and it's an obscure, the film's weird as anything. I feel like it done the book such a justice at the same time.
That's good.
Like it was completely not completely different, it was the same story, but like
there's different, but like it's a visual media, so there's different things you can convey in a film than you can in a book, and sometimes that really works in its favour.
So I love both of them so independently.
Oh, that's good. Love that for you.
Thanks.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about this question, right? Because initially I was like, well, what book would I never get tired of reading if I was on this desert island? You don't know how long you're going to be there. You could be there for the rest of your life, right? What book did I never get tired of reading? But then also I was like, so I thought maybe like a really long book, a book that you read over and over again. But then also I thought, like if you're on a desert island, you might feel really lonely and hopeless. You might want a book that like gives you a lot of hope. In which case I thought, bit of a basic answer, right? But the first Harry Potter book. Yeah. Because
nostalgic.
It just makes you feel so hopeful. Like see at the end when Harry's like, Hogwarts is my home.
There's so many characters in it though, you then be then
I am so alone. Yeah. So contrasting to that, if I don't take that book, I might take Circe by Madeline Miller, which surprise, surprise, Greek mythology. She's a goddess. Yeah, she's a goddess, Circe, and she gets banished to like an island by herself. That's her punishment for something that happens, and she's just like this strong, badass, like independent woman, and she just starts fending for herself and being like just really stepping into her own like feminine power. So I think maybe that would inspire me.
That's fitting.
Like maybe I'd be like, I'm in the same position as you, Circe, and I'm going to be a badass as well. Like so I'm going to go with that because I feel like that's a bit less basic. Yeah, the first Harry Potter book, and I feel like it would actually make you feel hopeful because it'd be like, if she can do it, I can do it. Yeah. Even though, you know, bear in mind the fact that she is like a goddess. Yeah. Okay, so last book that you've read. What was the last book you read?
The Paris Apartment.
Oh, The Paris Apartment, so good. Lucy Foley is the author. It's her third book. I read it, and you read it, and now Mum's read it. We all loved it. Highly recommend.
On a liar as well, that wasn't the last book I read. I read The Family Upstairs after that.
Well, this is just a farce now. You're just lying at this point. I've not read The Family Upstairs.
That is a really good book. Really good. I like that more than I like The Paris Apartment. I know. And it's a series. I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And also the second one. So
alright, okay. The last book I read was called Stolen Tongues. It's a horror book by Felix Blackwell. Originally I think it was a no sleep subreddit or something.
Oh, I've not even watched your TikTok about it because I want to read it.
There's no spoilers in my TikTok, I don't think.
I will watch.
It's just like the basic synopsis. It's like based on like Native American lore, but it's really, really good. And actually in the epilogue, the author Felix Blackwell talks about his decision to include Native American lore and Native American characters, and how he really focused on not making them like stereotypical healers or like kind of wise people, like, you know, that kind of like Hollywood trope. So I really respect that about it. It was genuinely really creepy.
Okay, is that really a Skinwalker one?
Yeah,
okay.
It's about skinwalkers. What is the next book on your TBR? TBR stands for to be read. Shelf.
I can't remember what's on mine. I think I actually maybe saved that Slenderman one.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might have put that on it, to be honest.
Yeah, Slenderman. The next thing I'm going to read, I have ordered it, it's on its way. It's called You Were Born for This by Chani Nichols. It's about astrology and radical self-acceptance. Do you DNF, which means do not finish? Like, do you stop reading a book if you're not enjoying it?
So,
what's your views on DNFing?
I have done it. Shock horror. With Stephen King, it.
This is just turning into a hate Stephen King video. And we like Stephen King.
I like the films.
Yeah, the films are really good.
Yeah, so I have done it. Like, there are a few. I honestly think I'll do it on my Kindle more than anything. I don't really do it with physical books. I will like power through even if I'm really not enjoying a book, just so I can go, because I think I was talking to Mum about this other day actually. I think that the thing with books is you don't need to enjoy them all. So like I kind of like, see, especially if I'm really not enjoying it, I'm like, I'm going to finish this just so I can tell everyone how much I hate it, because I can't, because it's like with it, I can't say I hate it, I've not finished it. So when I finish it and I still hate it, I hate that.
Fair. I just think like you need to be getting something out of it, and like if I'm not getting something out of it, then I just won't. And also like for me, what annoys me is like I start to think, if I'm not enjoying a book, right, I start to think about all the books out there in the world that I could be I could be spending my time reading and enjoying, and why am I wasting my time on this book that I don't like?
No,
so I DNF books, and I don't even feel remorse for it.
Yeah, you do.
Like a serial killer, like a serial DNF, or like I don't care, I have no remorse. What is your worst bookish habit?
Right. I will have the most crusty, mustiest bag in the world, and my book's still going in it, and it's going to be disgusting.
I hate that.
Like, I just, every book, even if I get a pure nice copy of a book, I will put it in my dirty bag.
I hate that.
No. I hate
that.
And I hate it about myself, but I will never stop, and I'll never clean my bag either.
That's so problem. Yeah. That's toxic.
No, I know.
That's your toxic
trait. That is my toxic trait.
No, I'm quite precious about my books. Like, if I have a really, especially if I have a nice copy, a nice hardback book, like, I'll struggle to even take it out of the house. I would say my worst bookish habit, which I don't actually think is that bad a habit, but I know some people hate it, is I will dog ear pages. I'll bend like the spine. I know some people don't even like bending the spines.
I like to bend spine.
I will highlight, like if
I do not highlight.
I will highlight.
That's sad. I don't mind dog earing, highlighting, because see if that line is wonky, I'm ripping every page out the book.
Okay, we're going to go on to a quick fire round now. It's a kind of this or that. So are you ready?
This is the one though that I'm just going to panic.
Okay, let's go. Hardback or paperback?
Hardback.
I actually think I might say paperback. I like the way hardbacks look, but to read, I prefer a paperback.
No, that is, for like
No, you can't change the answers
now.
For
convenience, no, I still think hardback.
Okay,
for convenience, paperback.
Yeah.
But actually keeping and looking at
aesthetically hardback. Okay. Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Yeah,
I'd rather die than read a non-fiction.
Wow, okay. I like non-fiction. I read a lot of non-fiction. I like I love a self-help book. I love like an informative book, but yeah.
You nailed a gun to my head. Like I read two, and I liked them, but it was
it was a struggle. Ebook or physical book?
Physical book. Don't get it on convenience again in bed, like
in bed, and also for the light, like see, because obviously on your Kindle, like you don't need a light on, like you just
that's elite.
That is elite because you can read it anywhere.
But still, physical book.
And I like the smell of a physical and the feel of it. Yeah.
I know the covers you can get, and when you end up with like a copy of a book that somebody else doesn't have.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go physical book as well.
Okay.
I struggle with that because I do love my Kindle. Series or a standalone book?
I always end up reading series. Even when I don't mean it. Like that book, the Family Upstairs, I didn't even know it was a series.
See, I feel like I'm the opposite. I feel like I don't read a lot of series. I feel like I did maybe at one point, but I actually don't.
I was in my series era for a while.
Well, I'm going with standalone because I feel like I mean, I have read a lot of series, but I don't seek them out. And to be honest, if I know a book's a series, it almost puts me off because I'm like, I feel like I'm committing to like a whole series, whereas I quite like to have a variety. Well, that is the end of my tag. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Let us know what your answers are in the comments, if you've read any of the books that we mentioned, or if you're interested in reading them after hearing us talk about them. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!